Reports circulating online have claimed that 90 Day Fiancé star Sumit Singh was arrested following an alleged $280,000 debt scandal, and that his wife, Jenny Slatten, filed for divorce. However, those claims should not be presented as established facts. As of August 20th, 2026, I could not locate credible independent reporting, an official police statement, court record, or a reliable entertainment news report confirming a $280,000 debt-related arrest of Sumit Singh, or a divorce filing by Jenny Slatten. What is confirmed is that Jenny and Sumit's marriage has faced substantial pressure. They appeared on 90 Day, the last resort in 2026, and Jenny publicly disclosed that she had been diagnosed with ALS. The couple's circumstances have therefore become considerably more complicated, but the available evidence does not support turning an internet headline into a confirmed arrest or divorce story. The headline that sent 90 Day Fiancé fans into a frenzy. Few couples in the history of 90 Day Fiancé have generated as much fascination, criticism, sympathy, and controversy as Jenny Slatten and Sumit Singh. Their relationship began with deception, survived an arranged marriage, endured family opposition, crossed international boundaries, and eventually culminated in marriage. Years later, the couple remained one of the franchise's most recognizable pairs. That history is precisely why dramatic claims involving the couple spread so quickly. A YouTube video circulating with the title Sumit Singh arrested after $280,000 debt scandal, Jenny Slatten files divorce, 90 Day Fiancé, presents an extremely serious narrative. But a provocative video title is not the same thing as independently verified reporting. A search for credible coverage does not currently establish that Sumit Singh was arrested over a $280,000 debt, or that Jenny Slatten has filed divorce papers. That distinction matters. An arrest is a legal event. A divorce filing is a court event. A debt of $280,000 is a specific financial allegation. Claims of that magnitude require evidence. So what is actually happening with Jenny and Sumit? The answer is more complicated, and in some respects, more heartbreaking than the viral headline suggests. Jenny and Sumit's story has always been complicated. Jenny Slatten and Sumit Singh first became known to 90 Day Fiancé viewers through 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way. Their relationship was unusual from the beginning. Jenny, an American woman approximately 3 decades older than Sumit, met him online. According to Jenny's account, Sumit initially used a false identity. He eventually told her that he was actually Sumit and lived in India. Their online relationship became a real-world romance when Jenny traveled to India to meet him. But the revelation that Sumit had been married before was only one of many obstacles. Sumit's marriage had been arranged by his family, and his relationship with Jenny was strongly opposed by his parents. The resulting conflict became a central storyline on The Other Way. For viewers, the relationship raised an endless series of questions. Could Sumit actually leave his previous marriage? Would his family ever accept Jenny? Would Jenny remain in India? Could their age difference withstand the pressure? And, perhaps most importantly, could the two of them build a stable life after so much turmoil? Eventually, they did marry. The wedding was shown during Season 3 of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way in 2021. Sumit's parents initially reacted negatively, but their position changed over time. His father eventually gave the couple his blessing, while his mother later accepted Jenny as well. That seemed to mark the beginning of a calmer chapter. It did not last forever. The marriage returned to television years later. Jenny and Sumit returned to the franchise in 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way Season 7. By this point, they were no longer the newly married couple viewers had watched struggle against Sumit's family. They were an established married couple dealing with a different problem: money, living arrangements, and family boundaries. One of the major developments was the couple moving into Sumit's parents' home. According to reporting about the season, Sumit described the move as being connected to a financial crisis. The couple had also attempted to improve their financial circumstances through a cafe venture. For Jenny, however, living with her in-laws created a new source of stress. The irony was difficult to miss. Earlier in their relationship, Jenny had fought for acceptance from Sumit's parents. Years later, After finally receiving that acceptance, she found herself living under the same roof with them. The dream of family harmony did not necessarily translate into comfortable married life. Jenny eventually made it clear that she wanted greater independence. She wanted privacy. She wanted her own household. And she wanted her marriage to function as a marriage rather than as a permanent extension of Sumit's family. Divorce became a real topic, but that is not the same as filing. This is where the viral headline appears to take a real storyline and push it much further. During the season 7 tell-all, Jenny and Sumit acknowledged serious marital problems. A January 2026 report from Swan noted that the couple were still together at that point, even though the tell-all had raised the possibility of divorce. Jenny reportedly said she did not want to remain miserable every day, while Sumit and Jenny disagreed over aspects of their relationship and social lives. Those are genuine relationship problems, but relationship problems are not proof of a divorce filing. This distinction is especially important when discussing reality television. Episodes are filmed months before viewers see them. Cast members can discuss hypothetical separation. A spouse can say, maybe divorce is the answer, without actually filing for divorce. A television preview can tease a breakup without the couple ultimately separating. And an online creator can turn a discussion about divorce into a headline, claiming that divorce papers have already been filed. The available reporting does not establish that Jenny filed for divorce from Sumit. In fact, reporting later in the story of their relationship indicated that they remained together. Jenny and Sumit were still together in 2026. Swan's January 2026 update specifically addressed the question of whether Jenny and Sumit were still together. The answer reported at that time was yes. The couple were struggling, but they remained married. Jenny discussed frustration about their living situation and their relationship, while the couple continued appearing within the 90-day Fiancé universe. That alone makes a dramatic claim that Jenny files divorce something that should be treated cautiously unless accompanied by new documentation. And there is another important piece of the story that changed the conversation entirely. Jenny became seriously ill. Jenny Slatten's ALS diagnosis changed everything. On May 19th, 2026, Jenny Slatten and Sumit Singh publicly revealed that Jenny had been diagnosed with ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. The announcement was reported by People and other major outlets. According to People, the couple learned of the diagnosis in December 2025 after Jenny had experienced symptoms for approximately a year. Jenny was 68 at the time of the announcement. Sumit was 38. The couple told People that they were trying to deal with the diagnosis together and were exploring possible treatments and clinical trials. The announcement transformed the way many fans viewed their relationship. For years, the dominant questions had been about their age difference, Sumit's family, immigration, marriage, money, and whether the relationship could survive. Now the couple were facing a devastating medical diagnosis. ALS is a progressive neurodegenerative disease affecting nerve cells involved in voluntary muscle movement. It is a serious and currently incurable condition. The Los Angeles Times reported that Jenny and Sumit intended to remain in India while seeking treatments and clinical trials that might slow the progression of the disease. That context is essential when evaluating sensational claims about their marriage. Sumit's role became more important. For years, Sumit's commitment to Jenny was questioned by viewers. Some questioned whether he was ready to take responsibility for their relationship. Others criticized him for the deception at the beginning of their romance. Still others believed his family's opposition might eventually destroy the marriage. But after Jenny's ALS diagnosis, Sumit publicly appeared beside her as she discussed the illness. People reported that when the couple learned of Jenny's diagnosis, they cried and held each other. That does not prove that their marriage is perfect. It does, however, provide important context that gets lost when an unverified headline reduces their current story to an alleged arrest and divorce. The reality appears far more complicated. What about the alleged $280,000 debt? This is the most significant part of the viral claim that remains unsupported. The figure of $280,000 is highly specific. A legitimate report about such a major financial dispute would normally be expected to contain some combination of a named creditor, court documentation, bankruptcy records, a civil lawsuit, an arresting agency, a police statement, a criminal charge, a judgment, a financial filing, or direct comments from the people involved. I could not locate reliable reporting establishing such evidence. The existence of financial problems in Jenny and Sumit's story is real. The couple have discussed financial difficulties. Their move into Sumit's parents' home was connected to financial pressure. They also pursued a cafe business as a possible way of improving their financial situation. But financial difficulties should not automatically be converted into a $280,000 debt scandal. That would be a major factual leap. Their cafe venture was part of the financial story. During their later 90-Day Fiancé storyline, Jenny and Sumit attempted to build a business. The cafe was presented as part of their effort to become financially independent. The couple had moved into Sumit's parents' home because they could no longer comfortably maintain their previous arrangement. Opening a business offered the possibility of earning more money and eventually establishing their own household again. But reports later indicated that the cafe appeared to have closed. Jenny subsequently discussed a different living arrangement, explaining that Sumit's parents planned to move out and that she and Sumit would remain in the house. That was an important development because Jenny had repeatedly expressed her desire for privacy and independence. None of that, however, establishes a $280,000 debt. Why the $280,000 number matters? Numbers make online celebrity stories look authoritative. A headline saying Sumit has money problems is vague. A headline saying Sumit faces $280,000 debt sounds like it must have come from a document. That is exactly why readers should be careful. A precise number does not become true merely because it is precise. The same principle applies to claims of an arrest. Sumit is in financial trouble is one claim. Sumit Singh was arrested after accumulating $280,000 in debt is a completely different claim. The second requires evidence. As of the date of this report, credible sources located for the story do not establish it. Could the claim be confusing Sumit with another 90-Day Fiancé star? There is another reason to be careful with franchise-related headlines. The 90-Day Fiancé universe contains a large cast, numerous spin-offs, and frequent stories involving divorce, arrests, lawsuits, and financial disputes. In 2026, for example, another 90-Day Fiancé personality, Thais Ramon, was the subject of reporting about an arrest amid her divorce from Patrick Mendez. That story involved a domestic battery allegation and body camera footage and was reported separately by Us Weekly. That does not involve Sumit Singh. Yet when audiences encounter dozens of 90-Day Fiancé headlines every week, names and storylines can easily become mixed together. This is another reason a dramatic headline about Sumit should not automatically be accepted as fact. Jenny and Sumit's appearance on The Last Resort. The couple's return to television in 90 Day. The Last Resort was itself significant. The program is designed around couples experiencing relationship difficulties. That immediately fueled speculation. Why would Jenny and Sumit need couples therapy? Were they separating? Was their marriage failing? Could they survive another major crisis? During the premiere, Sumit described their marriage as a roller coaster with many ups and downs, according to TV Insider's coverage. That language was consistent with what viewers had already seen. Their relationship had changed dramatically over the years. They were no longer fighting simply to be together. They were fighting over what being together should look like. The difference between love and compatibility. Jenny and Sumit's story illustrates a recurring theme in reality television. A couple can love each other and still have serious compatibility problems. Jenny and Sumit overcame enormous obstacles to get married. But overcoming obstacles does not automatically create a perfect marriage. Once the immediate obstacles disappear, couples can discover new conflicts. For Jenny and Sumit, those conflicts included living with Sumit's parents, financial independence, personal freedom, friendships, privacy, expectations surrounding marriage, and the question of where and how they should live. Their age difference also remained a recurring point of discussion. For many viewers, the age gap was never the central issue. For others, it represented a fundamental difference in life experience. The couple themselves consistently maintain that their relationship was about love rather than age. Sumit's family remains an important part of the story. The early chapters of Jenny and Sumit's relationship were dominated by his parents. Sumit's mother and father initially opposed the relationship strongly. His father reportedly questioned the future of a relationship with a woman older than his own mother. At one stage, the family wanted the relationship to end. Yet over the years, their position changed. Sumit's father eventually blessed the marriage. His mother later accepted Jenny. That development was one of the more surprising reversals in the franchise. But acceptance did not mean that living together would be easy. The couple's later decision to move into the family home demonstrated that family closeness can create a new category of problems. Jenny had spent years trying to convince Sumit's parents that she belonged in his life. Now she had to navigate everyday domestic life with them. The privacy problem. For Jenny, privacy became a particularly important issue. After years of living with Sumit, she apparently wanted a home where the two of them could live independently. That desire became even more understandable after the couple's financial difficulties. In a December 2025 report, Cinema Blend described Jenny as looking forward to Sumit's parents moving out so she could regain privacy. This detail provides a more grounded explanation of the couple's marital tension than the unverified $280,000 arrest story. Sometimes reality television drama does not need a criminal scandal. A married couple trying to establish boundaries with extended family can generate plenty of conflict on its own. Then came Jenny's health crisis. Everything changed in May 2026. Jenny revealed her ALS diagnosis publicly. The news was particularly emotional because Jenny said her father had also died from ALS, according to the Los Angeles Times. The diagnosis gave new meaning to some of the health concerns fans had noticed. Jenny had experienced symptoms beginning in late 2024. By December 2025, she and Sumit learned what was causing them. Rather than keeping the diagnosis completely private, the couple eventually decided to discuss it publicly. Their decision was significant because reality stars often face intense pressure to explain changes in appearance, speech, or mobility. Public disclosure allowed Jenny to tell her own story rather than leaving fans to speculate. Why health rumors can be especially dangerous. This is also why sensational celebrity coverage requires additional caution. Jenny's health is not entertainment in the ordinary sense. ALS is a life-changing illness. Speculation about divorce or financial problems can be upsetting, but speculation surrounding a serious medical condition can be even more harmful. Jenny and Sumit themselves have spoken publicly about her diagnosis. That means there is reliable information available. There is no need to fill gaps with unsupported rumors. Did Jenny file for divorce? Based on the credible sources reviewed for this report, there is no confirmed evidence that Jenny Slatten filed for divorce from Sumit Singh. The couple did discuss divorce during the 90-day Fiancé storyline. Jenny expressed frustration. Their relationship was clearly under strain. But those facts are different from a confirmed legal filing. As recently as early 2026, reporting indicated that Jenny and Sumit were still together. Later reporting about Jenny's ALS diagnosis also continued to describe Sumit as her husband and showed the two navigating the diagnosis together. People referred to Singh as Slatten's husband and reported on their joint experience following the diagnosis. If an actual divorce filing becomes public, that would be a major new development and should be reported using court documentation or direct confirmation. Was Sumit Singh arrested? Again, the answer based on the evidence currently available is not confirmed. I found a YouTube video using the arrest $280K/debt headline, but that is not sufficient evidence that an arrest occurred. No credible source located for this report established an arrest date, a police department, a booking record, a criminal charge, a case number, a court hearing, or a prosecutor's statement concerning Sumit Singh and a $280,000 debt. Therefore, it would be irresponsible to state that Sumit was arrested as a fact. The correct framing is that an online claim is circulating, but it remains unverified. What we actually know about their marriage. The confirmed picture is already dramatic. Jenny and Sumit married after years of obstacles. They eventually received acceptance from Sumit's parents. They later moved into his parents' home because of financial difficulties. They attempted to build a cafe business. Their living arrangements became a source of marital conflict. They appeared on 90 Day, the last resort to work through relationship problems. Jenny discussed divorce as a possibility during the franchise's relationship drama. Yet reports indicated that the couple remained together. Then, in May 2026, Jenny publicly revealed her ALS diagnosis. Sumit remained by her side. That is the story supported by the available evidence. The emotional weight of the ALS diagnosis. The diagnosis is arguably the most significant development in Jenny and Sumit's story since their marriage. For years, fans debated whether Sumit was worthy of Jenny. Was he committed? Was he too influenced by his parents? Would he eventually leave? Would Jenny regret moving to India? But ALS changes the emotional equation. The couple are now dealing with a serious illness that neither relationship counseling nor family approval can simply resolve. Jenny has said that she and Sumit are trying to live their lives as fully as possible while exploring treatment possibilities. People reported that the disease was progressing slowly at the time of their disclosure, while the couple continued looking for options. Their situation is therefore not merely a reality TV marriage storyline. It is a real human crisis happening alongside the television narrative. The couple's decision to stay in India. Another important detail is that Jenny and Sumit planned to remain in India. The Los Angeles Times reported that the couple intended to stay there while looking for treatments and clinical trials that might slow Jenny's illness. This is significant because moving to the United States had periodically been part of fan speculation surrounding their future. But Jenny's health needs changed the immediate priorities. Rather than focusing primarily on where the couple should live, their attention is now on medical care, treatment possibilities, and maintaining quality of life. Why fans should be careful with breaking news. The Jenny and Sumit situation demonstrates a larger problem with social media celebrity news. Reality TV audiences are highly engaged. A headline containing words such as arrested, $280,000 debt, divorce, scandal, is almost guaranteed to attract attention. But those words can create a narrative before the evidence is established. Once a headline spreads across YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, or other platforms, viewers may assume that multiple reports confirm it. They may not. 10 videos repeating the same claim do not equal 10 independent sources. One creator may simply be repeating another creator. The difference between reporting and speculation. Responsible entertainment reporting separates 3 categories. Confirmed facts. These are supported by official documents, direct statements, or reputable reporting. Reported but developing information. These claims come from credible sources, but may not yet have complete documentation. Rumor or speculation. These are claims circulating online without sufficient evidence. The alleged Sumit arrest belongs in the 3rd category unless credible evidence emerges. Jenny's ALS diagnosis belongs in the 1st category. Their marital problems belong in the 1st category because both the couple and reputable entertainment outlets have discussed them. A divorce filing, however, should not be described as confirmed without evidence of an actual filing. Why the story may have been framed as a $280,000 debt scandal. There are several possible explanations for how such a headline could emerge. One possibility is that a creator took the couple's known financial struggles and attached a large number to the story. Another possibility is that information concerning another person was mistakenly associated with Sumit. A third possibility is that the figure came from an unverified source that has not been independently confirmed. Without documentation, however, it is impossible to know. The safest conclusion is simply that the allegation is not established. What about the cafe? The cafe is worth discussing because it is one of the few documented financial developments in Jenny and Sumit's later storyline. The couple opened the business with hopes of improving their financial independence. However, later reports suggested that the cafe had apparently closed. That raised questions about how they would support themselves and whether they could afford to live independently. Yet again, there is an enormous difference between. The cafe appears to have closed, and Sumit accumulated $280,000 in debt and was arrested. The first is part of the documented reality TV story. The second requires evidence that has not been found. Their financial problems were real. It would also be wrong to swing too far in the opposite direction and pretend that money was never a problem. It clearly was. Sumit and Jenny moved in with his parents partly because they were experiencing financial difficulties. The cafe was an attempt to improve their situation. The collapse or closure of that venture raised further questions. Financial stress can be particularly difficult for married couples because money affects nearly every aspect of daily life. Where you live, how much privacy you have, whether you can travel, whether you can help relatives, whether you can afford medical care, whether one spouse can stop working. For Jenny and Sumit, these questions became increasingly important. Financial pressure and marriage. Money problems are also one reason why a couple can appear stable one year and deeply conflicted the next. During the earlier years of Jenny and Sumit's relationship, the central problem was whether they could be together. After marriage, the problem became how they could live together. That distinction is crucial. Their relationship did not necessarily become worse simply because they were married. The problems changed. Living with parents created tension. Financial independence became difficult. The cafe created new responsibilities. Jenny wanted privacy. Sumit had obligations to his family. And the couple's age difference meant they were potentially confronting different long-term priorities. Then came Jenny's diagnosis. Sumit's family and Jenny's illness. The family's acceptance of Jenny was one of the most significant transformations in the couple's story. Sumit's parents initially rejected the relationship. Eventually, they accepted it. That means the family that once represented the greatest obstacle became part of the couple's support system. When Jenny became ill, that family context became even more meaningful. The earlier storyline was about whether Jenny belonged in Sumit's family. The later storyline is about how everyone navigates a devastating health situation. That is a much more complicated emotional reality than the simplistic Jenny divorces Sumit narrative. Jenny's public disclosure. Jenny's decision to speak publicly about ALS was also an important act of transparency. Rather than allowing fans to speculate about changes in her speech or physical condition, she and Sumit explained what was happening. People reported that the couple had learned of the diagnosis in December 2025. The couple's public discussion also made clear that they were still functioning as partners. Sumit was involved in the process. He was not presented as an estranged spouse. He was presented as Jenny's husband confronting the diagnosis with her. The 90-day Fiancé audience has seen their entire journey. Few reality couples have given audiences such a long timeline. Fans saw the online relationship. They saw the deception. They saw Jenny travel to India. They saw Sumit's previous marriage become an obstacle. They saw his parents reject Jenny. They saw the couple eventually marry. They saw the family relationship improve. They saw the couple live independently. They saw financial struggles. They saw the move into Sumit's parents' home. They saw arguments about privacy and independence. They saw divorce discussed. And now they are seeing the couple confront ALS. That history is why the latest claims attract so much attention. Fans are not simply watching strangers. They have watched this relationship evolve for years. What would confirm an arrest? If Sumit Singh had actually been arrested in connection with a $280,000 debt allegation, several pieces of information would normally help establish the story. The strongest evidence would be an official police or court record. A reputable news organization independently confirming the arrest would also be significant. A direct statement from Sumit, Jenny, their representatives, or legal counsel could provide additional confirmation. Without such evidence, readers should not treat the claim as established. The same principle applies to divorce. A genuine divorce filing should produce a court record. The absence of evidence does not prove that nothing happened, but it does mean the claim should not be presented as confirmed. Why the distinction matters for Sumit. Being falsely described as arrested for a huge debt is not a harmless rumor. An allegation of criminal conduct can affect a person's reputation, employment, immigration situation, and personal relationships. That is especially important for someone whose life is already highly public. The same applies to financial allegations. A claim that someone owes $280,000 can have significant reputational consequences. Entertainment coverage should therefore be especially careful with allegations that sound criminal or financially devastating. Why the distinction matters for Jenny. Jenny's situation is equally sensitive. She is dealing with ALS. She is also dealing with the public scrutiny that comes from being a reality TV personality. Adding an unsupported divorce claim can create unnecessary speculation around an already difficult period. Fans may wonder whether Sumit has abandoned her. They may interpret ordinary disagreements as evidence of separation. They may believe that a medical crisis has destroyed the marriage, but the evidence currently available does not establish that. Instead, available reporting describes Sumit as remaining with Jenny while they navigate her diagnosis. The most important update is not the arrest rumor. Ironically, the most significant confirmed update about Jenny and Sumit is not an arrest. It is Jenny's health. The ALS diagnosis has changed the couple's life. It has also changed the way their story should be discussed. The couple are no longer simply debating where to live or whether to move to America. They are dealing with a progressive illness. They are investigating treatment possibilities. They are trying to maintain their relationship. And they are attempting to live as normally as possible under extraordinarily difficult circumstances. Does this mean their marriage is perfect? No. It would be misleading to claim that. Jenny and Sumit have openly acknowledged serious relationship problems. Their appearance on 90 Day, the last resort, was itself evidence that their marriage needed work. The 90 Day Fiancé franchise has documented arguments between them. Jenny has expressed dissatisfaction with their circumstances. The couple have disagreed about friends, family, and living arrangements. These problems are real, but a troubled marriage is not automatically a dissolved marriage. What fans should expect next? The most reasonable expectation is that Jenny and Sumit's story will continue to evolve. The couple have already demonstrated a willingness to share major personal developments with viewers. Their ALS announcement shows that they are prepared to speak about difficult subjects when they believe it is appropriate. Future updates may concern Jenny's health, treatment options, their living arrangement, their marriage, or their involvement with the 90 Day Fiancé franchise. But until such developments are confirmed, fans should resist the temptation to treat social media headlines as official news. The role of social media in the rumor. Social media has fundamentally changed entertainment news. A creator can produce a video with an alarming thumbnail and title within minutes. The title can be seen by thousands of people. Viewers share it. Other accounts repeat it. The original claim becomes harder to trace. Eventually, people may say, "I saw it everywhere, so it must be true." But repetition does not create evidence. The Sumit arrest claim illustrates this perfectly. The existence of a YouTube video using the title does not independently establish the events described in the title. A better way to read celebrity breaking news. When a headline claims that a reality star has been arrested, sued, divorced, or bankrupted, readers should ask 5 questions. Who reported it? Is it a recognized news organization or an anonymous social media account? What is the evidence? Is there a court document, police statement, or direct quote? Are independent outlets reporting the same thing? Multiple independent reports are stronger than multiple accounts copying one another. Is the headline more dramatic than the article? Sometimes the headline says arrested, while the actual story says nothing of the kind. When did the alleged event happen? Reality TV stories often involve footage recorded months before broadcast. These questions can prevent a lot of misinformation. Jenny and Sumit's story is still evolving. It would be easy to define Jenny and Sumit by their most controversial moments, but their story is more complicated. They survived an extraordinary beginning. They eventually married. They won acceptance from a family that initially opposed their relationship. They encountered financial difficulties. They experienced marital conflict. They considered whether divorce might be necessary. They sought help through reality television. And now they are dealing with a serious illness. That is already a remarkable story without adding an unverified arrest. The $280,000 claim should remain unconfirmed. Until credible documentation emerges, the alleged $280,000 debt should be described